Hello, you tiny sweaty people. This video is going to run you through how to model your device holder stand. So the base of it, and then also the laser cutout that's going to go on the top of it. So to start off, you need to have your either the image you've hand drawn uploaded to the computer, or have the image you want to trace downloaded onto your computer as a JPEG or a PNG file type. To start off with, we're going to create the base. So you can choose what kind of size you want, what shape you want the base. So the first thing we do is click the Create Sketch button, then we're going to click on this top plane here. Then, depending on what shape you want, you could use a circle. Okay, you could have it as a rectangle. You could have it as a polygon, so a circumscribed polygon. So if I click in the middle with that tool, it lets me do like a hexagon. And if I press the Tab key on the keyboard, I can change how many sides it has. So I could do an 8-sided shape, which I might actually do for this one. In terms of the width, I'm going to go with about 120 millimeters in wide as my base. So if I press tab again, it'll jump back to the other box. And if I type in 60, that'll make this distance 60, but it'll also make this distance 60. So I'll have 120 millimeters in width. I'll then use the horizontal vertical constraint just to lock my shape in, just so that it's all locked together. If you don't do that step, you can have some problems later. Then what I'll do is I'll add in a groove for my device to sit in. So I'll press L, or I'll click the line tool. I'll click and I'll come right across. You'll notice that this little blue symbol that's appearing, it's not there now, but it's there now. That means that my line is perfectly horizontal. I don't want to click on that little triangle, so I'll come up here a little bit further. I'll drag right across. And that's made them parallel, which is exactly what we want. If your line is a little bit crooked, you can use the parallel constraint by clicking it and then clicking the two lines to make them perfectly lined up, or you can just use the horizontal vertical constraint on this line. I'll then press D to bring up my dimension tool, or click on the dimension tool up here. I'll dimension this distance 15 millimeters, and then I'll dimension this distance 15 millimeters. Okay, so I've got a groove for my device to sit in now. I'll finish the sketch, and then I'm going to orbit by holding shift and holding the wheel of the mouse, then moving the mouse in. And then I'm going to press extrude. I'm going to click on all three sections, and I'm going to extrude that to a distance of -19. That's going to go down. Then I'll open up the sketches folder. I'll click the I next to sketch 1, and then I'll press E or click the extrude button, and I'm going to extrude that down -8 to create a groove in my body. I'll then click the I next to sketch 1 to clear my screen, and then I'm going to click the offset plane button. I'll come in here, I'll click on this, and then I'll drag this back. And we're going to go 10 millimeters back towards the center of our object. We'll press OK. Then I'm going to click Create Sketch. Okay. And on this sketch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the size of my device. So I'm going to press R to bring up my rectangle tool, and then I'm going to draw in a rectangle that is, for me, it's about 75 by 150. That's roughly the size of my device that I want to have on this stand. So that's roughly how big my device is going to be. Then what I'll do is I will finish the sketch, and then I will click this Insert button, this Canvas button. I'm going to insert from my computer, double click on my image, and then click on this sketch that I drew. Okay, now it's upside down and it's too small, and it's also in the wrong spot. So I'm going to use this button here to orbit or rotate my sketch, my image, until it's the right way up. Then I'm going to use this one to make it bigger. This little one in the corner makes it proportionately bigger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these two arrows to move it around. Okay, so I'll drag this and I'll move it down. Now you can see this rectangle is my device, so the part that's holding it is a little bit too small, so I'm going to make that bigger. I'll then move it around until I'm happy with the rough location of it, and it looks pretty centered to me. So if I'm lining up, I can see his little fingers roughly on those two lines. So that's pretty good. And we want it a little bit off the body as the base as well. So we want a bit of a gap between our image and our base. That looks pretty good to me. So I'll hit OK. Then what I'm going to do is I'll just turn off sketch 2 because again, just more visual clutter we don't need. I'll create a sketch, and I want to click on that plane. Well, actually what we can do is we can leave that sketch on and we can create a sketch on the other sketch. So do that and then turn that sketch off because we don't need that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fit point spline and I'll go around and I'll trace all of my lines. Okay, just a single line for each of them except for this one, and I'll show you why that is in a minute. I'm not going to do that now because I've already done it. So I'll jump over to this one and then we'll run through all the steps that I did to get to that. Okay, so here we are. I've drawn in my frog, and what you'll see what I've also done is I've added this section down here. It's 50 millimeters tall and it drops off the bottom of my sketch. That's so that we can attach our object later on. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go through all these steps that I went through with mine. Okay, so I've got my finished sketch, and then you'll notice that it's all blue. If it's not blue, it means that you might have a gap somewhere around your edges. So maybe this line and this line wasn't connected, and this section wouldn't be blue then, and it wouldn't highlight when you click on it. So just make sure that all of your sections are blue. Okay, so our first step, we're going to press extrude, and now we have to think about what layers. So for me, I'm going to do 3 different colors in mine. You don't have to do that, but this is how you do it. You can do a single color if you like. You can just do the silhouette. I'm going to make mine a little bit more challenging and show you how to do it a little bit more challenging, because if you don't want to do this, all you have to do is extrude every layer at once. Okay, really, really easy. So we just click on everything. That's if you want to do a single color. I want to do 3 colors. So I'm going to have this section as my front. I couldn't have this section as my front because then I need this part to be covering it. Okay, so I'm not going to click in the middle. I'm just going to click on this part, and if I orbit around a little bit, notice the arrow is pointing forwards towards the front of my object. That's really important. So I'll type in 3 millimeters and then I'll press OK. Good. Now for the next layer, I'm going to do his belly. So I'm going to rotate my screen to the back of him or them, and I will press extrude, and I'm going to click on the belly. But then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to click on the first layer, the sketch I did for the first layer. Now this one, I did +3 for the first one, so this time I'm going to do -3, and that'll bring him back this way. I'm going to change that from a join to a new body. Hit OK. Now what I'll do is I'm going to turn off body, the last body that got created, and then I'm going to do another extrusion, this time with all the other layers that I haven't done yet. So all of these sections, okay, including that base part that we made. Ooh, that's not good. No. Okay, let me try that again. Sorry. So I'm just going to turn off that other body because we don't want that there. Why are you being a freak? Okay, whatever, we'll fix that in a minute. So we're going to click on all of these sections, including the first sections. Okay, so it looks pretty stupid, but that's what it looks like. We're going to change that to 2 sides. One side is going to be 3. Or is that -3? We'll try that one as 3 or -3, which should clear my tool. Alright, sorry everyone, this is a bit painful. So we'll go through, click on all of our sections, except for where we want a hole. So I'm going to leave the eyes empty and the mouth empty. I'm going to change it to 2 sides. We're going to go, let's see. So 3 for the first one. We want both extrusions to be coming in this back direction. So 3, and then this one is going to be -6. Excellent. So you notice that it's spaced away from the sketch by the 3 millimeters. Okay, but then it's also got this other. Now we'll just change that to a new body. Okay, now if I turn on my other bodies, we will see that if I look at it from the front, oh, I've got way too many extrusions here. Okay, I've ruined something. Okay, there's something wrong with how it's being displayed right now, but if I double click on one of my earlier extrusions, press OK, it should come back. That one I don't think I want. Okay, there we go. I just had an extra extrusion there for some reason. Okay, now if we look at it from the front, we can see that we've got all our layers. So we've got our front layer, we've got our middle layer, and then we've got our back layer. So that's the process for creating a multi-layered device stand holder. The next step will be to laser cut, which I'll show you in the next video.